As we've been telling you today, of course, tonight, all eyes will be on Texas for the third Democratic presidential debate. But there will also be a GOP presence.
According to President Trump's campaign manager, a massive banner blasting socialism will fly above Texas Southern University in Houston during the debate. Joining us from Texas to discuss the campaign tactic, as well as what Republicans are expecting tonight, Director of Strategic Communications for Trump 2020, Mark Lauder. Mark previously served as Press Secretary of Vice President Mike Pence, as well as Special Assistant to the President. Mark, welcome back to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So, Mark, tell us a little bit about the banner. Where will it be flying? How big is it? And let's be honest. What is the message that the president and the campaign are trying to send while the Democrats are all having their debate tonight?
Well, in addition to the giant banner, and I've read it's about 4,800 square feet in total, flying over the city. There have also been full-page newspaper ads taken out in Houston and San Antonio and other places, highlighting not only what the Democrat policies that they'll be hearing tonight would do to Houston's economy, to the Texas economy, but also highlighting the benefits of what is happening in this state under President Trump's leadership.
Mm-hmm. Y'all getting nervous down there in Texas? There are a lot of Republican members of Congress who are resigning. New poll just came out that had from Univision that had Bernie Sanders, the Democratic socialist himself, beating Trump by 6 points. What do you make of those things?
Well, I think all these hypothetical matchup polls more than a year away from the general election are pretty meaningless. We haven't even started. They're just starting their campaign against each other, let alone step into the ring with President Donald Trump. And so while I understand it's sport and it's always interesting to see these results, they really don't mean much right now. I've often said that a hypothetical matchup poll this far out is about as informative as polling vegetarians about their favorite cut of steak.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Are you worried, though, are you worried about Texas? Are you going to have to spend time and money there?
No, we're not worried about Texas at all. We've got a tremendous effort here on the ground already. We have a tremendous base of support, as we've seen every time the president comes to Texas. I mean, he's packing arenas, and people can see the results for themselves. The over 700,000 jobs that have been created. You've got manufacturing coming back, and this is, in fact, one of the energy capitals of the world. And you have the Democrats right now threatening to derail all of that and eliminate all of those energy sources just to placate their Green New Deal. So those aren't messages that are going to line up with the voters of Texas or most of America.
Mark, what do you make of, so there's a new phenomenon in Texas where you are, where I'm also from, of a lot of people from blue states moving in and continuing to vote Democratic. What is the message to, I guess, some of the more moderate new voters in Texas that could be not necessarily a swing, but they're going to be a large part of the electorate and they're going to affect down ballot races?
Well, I think there's a couple of things. One of the reasons probably that many of them are moving to Texas is it's a low tax state. It's a state that's got a booming economy. And when you contrast that to some of the liberal bastions that they are fleeing, which are high on taxes, high cost of housing, all of these things that they're fleeing from, why would you want to replicate all of those failures somewhere else? And the other thing I would remind people is that this is not the Democrat Party that many remember. I mean, this party has lurched so far to the left. You even have President Obama's former chief of staff warning them that they have gone too far to the left. And as I travel the country speaking on behalf of the president, I hear from a lot of people who are moderates, previous Democrat voters, saying they don't even recognize the party anymore.
So, Mark, what are the predictions for the campaign tonight? Who do you guys predict are going to do best, and eventually that you'll come up so you can beat, as I'm sure that you'll say?
Well, I don't think it matters which one of them comes out of this primary process. They're all going to be saddled with the horrible policy proposals that they have been making. And as we have said from the previous two debates, every time they take the stage, President Trump wins, because the things they're talking about are alienating so many American voters, not just on the right, but even in the middle. So we'll focus on our race, which is in November of next year. Once we have a candidate on their side, we're sure that they're going to be broken, and they'll have done things like endorsing the Green New Deal and talking about eliminating fossil fuels, driving up people's energy costs. Those are the things that are just not going to settle well with most of America.
Mark, there was a report in the Daily Beast that the president was concerned that quote-unquote socialism might be harder to beat, that it may first appear. I wanted to ask you about a specific proposal. Senator Sanders has proposed canceling all medical debt. It's one of the leading causes of personal bankruptcy in this country. Of course, the costs are astronomical. I don't think anyone thinks that our current healthcare system is amazing and working particularly well. What do you think about that one idea specifically, canceling medical debt, and whether that will be popular with the public?
Well, I think what we have to do as we talk about the broader case against socialism is talking about the real life implications of it. And the fact that, you would have the government coming in, taking 180 million Americans off of their private health insurance, kicking them off of it. 20 million American senior citizens would be kicked off of their Medicare Advantage plans. And when it comes to medical debt, the president has taken action along with the Secretary of Health and Human Services to stop surprise medical bills. But once again, Democrats, and we'll see it again tonight, this debate will again be a free-for-all. Everything is free for all, and no one knows how to pay for it. What we need are common sense solutions, bringing more transparency in, which is what the president is talking about doing, so people have an opportunity to shop for those services, get the best price, force doctors, hospitals, pharmaceutical companies to compete for the American consumer's dollar by lowering prices, not hiding behind non-transparent pricing schemes.
Mark, so the president said in a recent tweet that he has not yet even begun campaign. When is the president expected to really start hitting the campaign trail?
Well, you see the president, he's out there right now every few weeks or so having a rally. We've got one coming up in New Mexico. But what you see behind the scenes is going on with the campaign from our side. We've got people out there motivating voters, training volunteers, developing that database that is already light years ahead of what the Democrats have, and really starting to do that basic blocking and tackling of how campaigns are won. The president has a pretty big day job, and so as we start getting further and further into this process, you will absolutely see more rallies, more events in that way. Right now we're doing them as his schedule will allow, but make no mistake, as we get closer and closer to next November, he will be out there more and more often.
Well, thanks so much for joining us, Mark. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks for having me.
We'll have more Rising coming up.